love this song so much. This video was shot in one of my Videogame Music Theories streams where my chat comes in, they suggest video game songs to me, I listen to them, try to figure them out on the spot, try to analyze them, get some sort of useful information out of it, and like try to understand what the song is doing. If that sounds like a fun time to you, if you want to get your song analyzed on the stream, make sure to follow that Twitch below and enjoy the video. Let's check out Stickerbush Symphony because I haven't heard that in a very long time. Oh man, I love this song so much. This is gonna be exciting. All right, so we all know this. The 3D models, like the 3D art in Donkey Kong Country, they're so beautiful. Like I think these look so pretty. Like look at Diddy's face. It just like, I don't know. There's something about it that's like very like, those games are intense. You heard that in Smash? Yeah, I mean, this is like, he wrote it with a text editor. That is messed up. Is that, wait, maybe I'm confused. I'm looking up the composer real quick. David Wise. I don't know why I had an idea like Grant Kirkhope had done Donkey Kong Country, but I guess he only did Donkey Kong 64. Yeah, true. I mean, obviously he did Banjo-Kazooie. That's his like main game that he did the music. Anyway, that's amazing. That's amazing with the text editor. All right, let's listen to it. Let me establish a key. Oh, it's A minor. Okay. Very standard. Okay. Oh man, this song is so beautiful. It makes me want to cry. Dun, dun, dun. I just enjoy it for a second. It's also about enjoying. It's not only analyzing. Oh my god, I forgot about this. This song is so good. Oh, I forgot about the little voice in. Give it to me. Man, this truly is alive. Oh. They like really didn't have to do all this for a Donkey Kong game, right? Oof. Give it to me. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like mark this song as being like one of the best video game themes ever made. I wouldn't put it past them. Like, it's very, very good. It starts headbanging, yeah. Dude, I like... It's just so... It's just such a mood, right? Like, what the fuck? I guess we should delete these notes over here because these are not the case anymore. Some interesting stuff here, though. It seems pretty standard, but I mean, it doesn't really need that much, right? It's such a well-composed song. I think what's important to like point out about Stickerbush Symphony as well is the textural work is so good that they don't really need to do that much harmony-wise. They do a really good job at like making a very controlled minor key song with a very strong melody. We'll check out what those chords are in just a second, but I mean, to me, what makes Stickerbush Symphony special isn't necessarily like the chords, but more the textures, right? The textures used. Like, I think that like all the instruments that they pick work so well together and like just create this like sort of like surreal sound that you didn't really hear in music back then, like not only video game music, but music in general, right? Like if a band sounded like this, to me, if a band had like these sort of like synth sounds or just like a musical project, I would be completely sold on. Especially if I like listened to it like 10 years ago or 20 years ago or something like that. But essentially the song is in A minor, which is like, you know, it's the like minor key that's all the white keys, right? So it's like, and it's going from like, I mean, the main motif is going from like A minor bum 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 to C major. Bum 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 bum. Now they're doing something interesting with that little that like secondary melody that they have there. We'll talk about it in a second, but I want to figure out a couple more of the chords that are happening. Let me grab my notepad real quick. So essentially the first thing that's happening there is just this like A minor to like C major, sort of like vamp. Very standard stuff. That's just 1 to flat 3 major in a minor key. I mean, that's like literally par for the course, as par for the course as it gets. Understand as well, right, that even though when we're in a minor key, C major is a relative major of that minor key. So like what they're doing here is going from the minor key to the major, to the minor key to the major. Notice that C major also has like all white keys, right? And that's kind of what I mean when I talk about A minor and C major being relative to each other. I'm talking about like they're a minor scale and a major scale that have exactly the same notes. All right, let's listen to some of the chords that happen later. So that's your A minor, and then it goes to that C major right there, right? Very standard stuff. Now it's gonna add me a new one right here. Okay. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. It's all in the minor key. It is using kind of a bold chord in there, right? So it's got, and it's the one that you hear. It kind of sounds like it's outside of the key, but it's not really outside of the key. It's just like a weird chord that is in the key. So it's going from F major, which is the flat 6 of the key. Similar thing to the song that we were talking about before, right? So flat 6 is a very common chord in minor keys. So you got your F major going to this sort of B here. That's kind of like scary sounding, right? It's because it's a B diminished chord, right? So the 2 diminished of the minor key. And then it's going to the E, which in this case the E is just a 5, right? Just like an E minor chord. I don't think they're making it dominant at all. They're just making it a 5 minor. So they're not really like borrowing anything from anywhere. They're just sticking to the key, which a lot of times is very effective. Because then it's going to G, I believe, right? Oh no, it's just going to A and then dropping down, I should call it A minor, dropping down to G, all in the same bar, and then it repeats. There's a way for me to write repeat signs, right? Oh man, I love discovering all the ways that I can write music notation on like a notepad. It's so good. So right here I have like a bar of F, which is a flat 6, a bar of B, which is a flat 2, a bar of E, which is the 5 of the key, and then goes back to 1, which is A minor, but uses the G to walk back to F, right? So to get like a boom, 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 boom. A to the G to the F sort of situation right there. And this is super, super, super standard, right? There's only one thing that's weird about this, but in general, all they're doing throughout here is going in what we call circular motion, right? So we were talking about before in the last song about like how the 5 chord is like a really big deal. That 5 chord brings you back to 1. So movement going down in fifths is very important in music. We call it circular motion because it follows the circle of fifths, right? But if you don't understand what I'm saying, so think, for example, of like A, right? A, if A is 1, 5 is A, B, C, D, E, right? So going from E, the 5, to A, the 1, is called circular motion. And it's kind of what's happening here. You see it right here. It's going from E to A. It usually happens with dominant chords, but here they're just doing circular motion with the chords of the key without changing anything. All of these chords belong in A minor. So you got your flat 6 that's going down, not a perfect fifth, it's going down a diminished fifth to the B diminished chord. So like not quite circular motion, but kind of referring to it. And then the B is the 5th of E, so that's going down a 5th to the E. And the E is going down a 5th to the A, and then the G is just in there to create a little path between the A minor and the F, right? So doing the like, right? And just play that again. It's like the boom, and then the B diminished, and then the E minor, and then the A to the G to the F. Real pretty stuff. We like it a lot. I think outside of that, yeah, I mean, it's a simple song Another thing that I want to like point out before we like move on from this song, because I don't want to, because it's so beautiful. I could spend hours analyzing why that melody is good, but I really want to focus on the melody underneath that melody. So this situation, this is the sauce of Stickerbush Symphony. It's what keeps it going. Bum 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 boom. So why do I want to like focus on that, on this situation, on the bum 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 boom. Bum, 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 bum. So what's important about this is that it repeats throughout the whole song, right? And it's like the main motif that like drives the song. And they're doing something that honestly, any of y'all, if you ever sit down to like write a song or do something like this, you can steal this very easily. And it's like one of the most effective ways of writing, right? Which is just grabbing one simple motif in the key that you're in and just changing the chords underneath, right? Because every new iteration of a chord underneath this is going to make it sound different. It's going to make it feel different, right? Music doesn't really like, or melodic content doesn't really mean anything without the context of like harmony. And harmony injects meaning into melodies, right? So even though we're playing the same 3 notes the whole time, which by the way, the main note of the key A is not in this melody, right? So it's circling around the A, which I think adds to like it feeling a little bit disjointed and a little bit like dramatic, right? A little bit weirder, right? Or maybe like less conventional. When you put that little melody in the context of different chords underneath, it just sounds different. So like this is that melody on top of an A minor. Pretty cool, but what if we put it on top of a C major? It suddenly has like a little bit of like a more hopeful tint. That like it's the same 3 notes, but I would argue that they sound completely different. They sound like they're in a completely different place, right? And then you start doing this little vamp in the B section of the song, and you start like keeping that same melody. I mean, the melody's playing throughout the whole song, right? It's one of the most special, most like iconic parts of the song. Let's hear what that melody sounds like against the F. Kind of sounds a little bit like the C major, but it's a little bit more like fantasy, a little bit weirder, right? That's because it has a little bit of a Lydian tint to it. The B on top of the F chord. B is the first note of the melody, by the way. It just has a little bit of like a different feeling to it. On top of the B diminished, it's even weirder. It sounds almost wrong, right? Especially if you play it isolated from the other chords. The E minor sounds like it belongs a little bit better because like it's actually outlining an E minor chord. I would say like an E minor flat 13 or something like that. It's kind of a weird relationship there, but it works. It's fine. And then on top of on top of the G, it doesn't really happen. It happens on the. And when you put that all together, when you grab like those 4 sounds and you like keep them going with that like sort of like pedal melody that's going throughout the whole time, it just gives it a nice little tint, right? And so when you have such an involved melody like the melody of the vocals paired with like this melodic motif, like, so yeah, you repeat that motif on top of like these changing chords and it just gives it a different feeling every time. So just like play all of that really quick. You have that like. Yeah, very pretty stuff. Anyway, this song is amazing. We all know that Stickerbush Symphony is a very well-written song. But, I mean, I think what's surprising here is there's no borrowed chord. Everything is part of A minor. The melodies are very simple. Everything's very controlled. I think this is a song that works, especially because of, like, texture, because of how beautiful the instruments sound. And since the instruments sound so beautiful, I think that like David Weiss has like, let's call it the metal and like the mind to think like, oh, okay, well, I don't have to do anything with this song because all these synths sound so beautiful, so I can just let them work, right? Stickerbush Symphony, that was beautiful. Thank you for suggesting that. Threw me back. I hadn't heard that song in such a long time. What a classic.